Hey pals, welcome to Season 3 of the Adventures of Blink. I am of course Blink and you can find me on GitHub right here. I am so stoked to be back here with you. My off season was really good for me. It gave me a chance to step away and to do different things for a while and breathe. But I am ready to go on an adventure with you again.
I'm going on an adventure!
Please make sure that you are clicking like and subscribe wherever the buttons happen to be. This is the perfect time to do it because we're starting the new season, and if you remember, we're designing these seasons to be contiguous. So every episode depends on the one before it and affects the one after it, and it's part of sort of a continuing story adventure of whatever topic we're going to address. I greatly appreciate you joining me for these adventures to be part of my adventuring party. Your support means a lot to me, and even if that's just as simple as clicking the like button, that helps because it lets me know what's good and what's not. What you're enjoying and if I've targeted things appropriately and I'm giving you material that's useful and helpful. So I know you're excited to see what we're going to talk about for season 3, and it's time to go on ahead and spill the tea. I had one episode of season 2 that really stood out in the analytics. And in addition, I've had a few recent encounters with developers who wanted to learn some specifics about it. But before I do the big reveal, we need to talk. I've run into more than a few system administrator types of folks who will tell me that they don't think they're developers. Blink, I'm a sysadmin. I don't write code. I'm not a developer, they tell me, sometimes vehemently, while assembling a bash script to run the database system upgrade.
You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Here's the thing. As a sysadmin, you're always coding. It's just different languages and purposes. Sometimes it's not even different languages. But your developers, if you are the sysadmin, your developers need you to understand that development space along with them. They need you to speak dev fluently. And there are some techniques that they'll share that might actually help you out too. And we're going to look at some of those this season. My personal opinion on this is even a little more radical than just that discussion. I believe everybody's a developer. Sysadmins, programmers, heck, even sales and marketing people are developing things. They're building stuff. And I mean everyone in your company can be a developer if you think about it. They're not necessarily hiding in a cubicle farm inverting binary search trees all day long, but they're using computers and automation in order to get work done. That's developing things. So with that background info, it's time to go on ahead and pull the curtain back. Season 3's adventure is a deep dive into version control with Git. Learning to share your code isn't like toddlers learning to share toys. There's a whole discipline that you need to cultivate. You might get by with cowboy version control, so to speak, for a super small project or a super small team, but you'll rapidly reach a point where you have to establish some rules in order to keep it from becoming complete chaos. So that's what we're going to dig into this season. How to do it well, and what benefits we receive from adding just a little discipline to our practice. So you might ask, what's required of you as you embark on this adventure with me?
Be open-minded, but not so open that your brain falls out.
In order to be successful at this, you're going to need to eliminate something from your vocabulary. We affectionately call it TWADY. It stands for the way we've always done it. Would you say that technology has changed in the last 20 years? I hope so. I hope you would say that. Technology has done wild things in the last 20 years. So if that's so, why would you expect processes that are 20 years old to work regardless of the technological advancements around them? Just something to think about. Everything's in flux and everything's in constant flux. That's what it means for technology to advance. We do things differently because we have new capabilities. And so being trapped in Twati strangles your ability to adapt to things. I'm not necessarily advocating we just throw the rule book out, whatever, it's all chaos. We're just going to do it all as things happen. But we do need to think very carefully about whether our processes are actually serving us or whether they need to be modified. All right, so we have a plan now. What can you do to get ready so that you can follow along with me this season? I realized in the off season that this is a really important thing that I've been missing, and that's that people don't learn from watching a YouTube video. Now, that may seem strange for me to say as I publish a YouTube tutorial video, but the truth of the matter is the learning doesn't happen until you look at it and go, I need to try that for myself. And at the moment that you go type, and do the thing, suddenly that's where learning occurs. Watching me on YouTube doesn't really get you that by itself. It's the next step in the process, the thing that I'm showing you how to do, that you go back and try yourself. That's where you're actually going to learn from this. So I want to make sure you've got a few things out here to set you up for success so that next week when we start the adventure proper, that you'll be ready to go and you'll be able to just pick up where we are. If you're a more advanced developer and you're watching this already and thinking, oh gosh, I already know how to do all this stuff, that's cool. This section is just suggestions for people who are picking this up brand new and trying to understand it for the first time. So step 1, go to github.com and create a free account. Step 2, go to gitlab.com and create a free account. These are two competing services. I don't have any stake in either one of them. I'd love to someday. I think it would be a fun place. Either one of them would be a fun place to work. So if you are a hubber or a labber, I don't even know what y'all call yourselves. But the short version is if you're one of those people, by all means, tell your buddies I'd love to hear from you someday. At the moment, this is an unsponsored video, and so we're just going to explore the tools and see what we can learn objectively about the two of them. Yes, I know there are tons of other Git-related tools that we could explore. I picked these two because I'm trying to limit, how much stuff I cram into a season. It gets overwhelming to create the content. It gets overwhelming to try to consume the content. So I figured we'd just do a deep dive with these two. They're sort of the front runners in the space. And so I want you to go create those free accounts and get them set up so that you can start using them. The next thing you're going to do, if you haven't done it already, is install Microsoft for Visual Studio Code. VS Code is another free tool you can use. If you're an experienced developer and you're using something else, that's totally cool. Go use whatever you want. I'm not telling you this is what you have to do, but if you're a brand new person and you're just trying to figure out how to get all this started, that's a great place to sort of stick your toes in the water, so to speak. The last thing we'll do is install Git. Now that's going to be a little more complicated because it depends on what operating system you're running on your computer, and that's okay. I'll include several tutorials in the description so that you've got all of that stuff available, at least for the most popular OSs. And I assume that if you're doing like a really off-brand OS and you've done all that, you're probably a little more advanced as it is anyway. So I'll hit the big three, so to speak, your Mac, Windows, Linux. And if you've got some really crazy other setup, then I'd love to hear about it. Let's talk. I'm always interested in what stack people are operating in. I'm going to make the assumption starting next week that you've already done these things. So everything will be in the description of this video in order to help you get that rolling. And then I'll link back to it just to make sure that people know, oh, I needed those tools in order to get this started. But this, I hope, will help you follow along and try some of the examples for yourself. Go on ahead and get those things and get set up so that you'll be ready for next week. Now with that, I think I've wrapped up our season opener. I hope you're as excited as I am to start our next adventure together. Thank you for joining me today, and I can't wait to see what you build. See you around.